Before I review Gangsta Paradise, I feel it's important to make clear that this has nothing to do with 1990s rapper Coolio. We're not going to be walking through the valley of the shadow of death or taking a look at our life and realizing there's nothing left, because those are lyrics from Gangsta Paradise. Completely different. The gangstas in this new game weren't taught by Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds, but rather controlled the flow of hooch and gave Dick Tracy a hard time. So grab your Tommy gun and roll up in your Falcon Knight Roadster, because it's time to take down the Mafia in this quirky shoot-'em-up from the appropriately named developer Prison Games. If you're not familiar with the Mafia's power and influence in the first half of the 20th century, then you should probably just go read a Wikipedia article or watch a documentary or something, because you're not gonna learn anything from Gangsta Paradise. Beyond being a guy who stands next to his car shooting gangsters, there's absolutely no story here. It's just a 40-stage shooting gallery where a character casually shoots up people in the slums, the back alley, the docks, and the rail yard. Once we've completed one stage and collected all the money, we move on to the next, where the unruly band of killers are even more aggressive than before. As a shooter, this one's pretty basic. Our hero stands on the left side of the screen and shoots at enemies piling in from the right. The goal is to kill all the gangsters before they destroy the tiny fence that separates you from them. In that sense, Gangsta Paradise is a lot like Plants vs. Zombies, only without the plants, or zombies, or strategy elements. You move the character up and down, shooting at bad guys and reloading your gun, hoping that you'll be able to finish them off before they tear down that wall and presumably kill our hero. Now, our default weapon is a standard handgun with 7 bullets. As you take down the many cartoony mafia types, you'll earn money that can be used to upgrade the effectiveness of that gun. When you need a little extra firepower, we'll also be able to purchase better guns mid-round, including dual pistols, a shotgun, minigun, and of course the trusty Tommy gun. And before you ask, yes, all of these weapons can be upgraded as well. In fact, a lot of the game is about grinding through the levels multiple times in order to earn cash to spend on your arsenal and wall. Just about the only thing you can't upgrade are the grenades, which you can use to stun the enemies for a short amount of time. Speaking of the gangsters, there's a nice variety of bad guys to shoot at here. We start out with low-level thugs with crowbars and dynamite-wielding masked men, only to graduate to angry chefs, crooked cops, and mafia dons. Beyond simply attacking with different weapons, these enemies will also require skill to defeat. For example, there will be enemies that will shield themselves from car doors, which means that we'll need to carefully line up each shot in order to take them out. The enemies are usually pretty easy to defeat on their own, but the challenge comes when there are a bunch coming at you all at once. If you don't upgrade and use the bonus weapons, then you'll stand no chance in the second half of the game. This leads me to the game's biggest problem, the imbalance of weapons. For the first half of the game, your trusty pistol will do more than enough to get the job done. Sure, you'll need to upgrade it a few times, but it has plenty of power to keep those enemies at bay. However, your pistol is all but useless in Acts 3 and 4. Unfortunately, I would argue that the dual pistol and Tommy guns are also pretty useless. They're the cheapest weapons to buy in a pinch, and you definitely get what you pay for. The best weapon is the shotgun, which is not only significantly more powerful than the other guns, but also has this cool spread shot that hits multiple people at the same time. To put it bluntly, it feels like you're cheating when you go from the Tommy gun to the shotgun. The only weapon that is more effective is the minigun, but that costs 3 times more than the shotgun and is rarely necessary to complete a stage. No matter how aggressive the enemies were, I knew that all I needed to do was earn enough money to buy the shotgun, and it would be smooth sailing from there. Now, my other big complaint is the repetition of the levels. Sure, I could make the case that the entire game is repetitive, but it's especially jarring when it comes to the backgrounds. There are 40 stages spread across 4 acts, which sounds a lot more impressive than it actually is. There's only 1 background per act, so the game really only has 4 locations to fight in. They try to mix it up a bit by having some levels at night and others during the day. But yeah, that's not enough. The lack of variety only helps to remind players that they're doing the exact same thing in every single stage. If the gameplay is going to be this repetitive, then you need to offset that by having 2 or maybe 3 times more locations. Something to break up the monotony and give off the impression of change. With no story, repetitive level designs, imbalanced guns, and a real emphasis on grinding for money, I really had a hard time staying invested in Gangsta Paradise. The fact that there's not even a half-hearted acknowledgement when you finish off all 40 stages is a reminder that even the developers know that most people are going to get bored and give up midway through. Man, shooting gangsters should be a lot more fun than this. Don't let the name fool you, because Gangsta Paradise is a lot more Eliot Ness than Coolio. With a colorful cast of bad guys to shoot at and a way to upgrade all kinds of era-specific guns, this new release from Prison Games should be a lot more fun than it actually is. Unfortunately, the game gets bogged down by repetitive action set in front of boring backgrounds, something that is only made worse by the lack of story and imbalanced weapons. This game may be full of gangstas to shoot at, but I'm still trying to find the paradise. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite gangster game? It can be a game that's all about gangsters, or maybe just one that has a gangster in it. Just don't say Gangsta Paradise, because I know you're lying. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back shortly with a fun video where we look at ancient websites promoted by old school issues of Entertainment Weekly. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.